Alright, so welcome people to a video voted on in Discord, and there's my first plug of the day in the top right corner. Go click the thing, please. Anyway, countering punished players means to successfully get off your investment and not lose the trade. But what does losing the trade mean? Essentially, you want to invest and then take less damage from your opponent's incoming attack than you are able to deal. So, if your opponent comes in with a Hog Rider, you want to lightly defend it and make sure you can dish out more damage than the Hog did to you. In an ideal world, your opponent just doesn't punish. This means that, to win the exchange per se, you need to get 1 damage and that's a win. You can push in with all the support and spells your heart desires, with your opponent just defending, they're there for the kill with some OP spell value. However, you gotta face that a lot of decks will be looking to punish an investment. Here's how to work around that. You want to bait them into pushing with their punish by waiting. Eventually they'll use it and you can defend as you please. Right then, after defending, you can invest. Your opponent will be forced to defend, and you can pull off a scenario similar to the previous sequence. You can also gain an elixir lead through pumps or just good trades, and invest when you're up on elixir. If you're at 10 and they're at 6, it's hard for them to build a significant push when you invest. Using this info, you can then push in and hopefully get that glorious 1 damage. Let's face up to somebody who is actually punishing us though, and how we deal with it. There are 3 general sequences that you can follow. The first is to evaluate their attack and see that it's too small to be worth defending. This only works if you can afford to soak up the damage in exchange for more support. You must be confident in being able to get more than they did with their punish, and then leaving it is your best option. You can use the elixir you gain to generate cards, which will hopefully generate you that damage. The second play is to lightly defend, but lean more into pushing. This will gain you more elixir, however lose you more damage. You want to use this for higher punishing attacks like Hog Riders or Mega Knights. With the spare elixir you saved, once more go get more damage than your opponent to win this trade. A huge help to this in modern times is heavy investment decks running hard counters to popular punish plays. Golem decks now running Nado will easily be able to counter that Hog punish for cheap, and then move on with their massive push. This counters lightly defending as you're still gaining elixir, but just have a great counter. With poison being in those decks as well, it makes stuff like graveyard punishes nominal by just using the spell. Our final method is to simply free crown race. Ignore your tower's HP and just build lol, making sure that you can ruin everything your opponent owns. This works best when you're in double elixir and your opponent has thrown everything into the opposite lane. The danger here is that you can get free crowned yourself, but as long as you're building without losing the game, you should be okay. You must know your opponent's defensive strategy for this. There's no point on relying on Golem, Night Witch, and Clone if your opponent can just use Xe Nado to defend. You have to have a viable way to actually get the free crown. All of this is entirely matchup dependent though. Against a heavy punish deck, you might just need to spend all of your spare elixir defending and just ditch the tank. It's not ideal, but some scenarios you can't help. Against an investment deck, I'll show you a clip from a previous video. You want to play your tank at the same time as them as to give a level playing field. Try to wait for them to commit first so their tank crosses into your tower range to begin with. They'll be stacking DPS troops to murder your tank, so now you have a decision. If you have more DPS in your deck than they do, kill their golem and wait for your troops to counterattack. If you have less DPS than they do, you want to try and take out their troops to kill their defenses, as otherwise these troops will murder you on the counterattack. Basically, investment is key, and dishing out more DPS is second. Basically, you need to be weighing up how much to spend on defense, as to judge how much damage you need to obtain on offense. Spending the entire elixir bar will get you less damage, but you also take less damage. Spending absolutely nothing means you will get more damage, but you also take more damage. It's all about the weigh up for gaining more damage than your opponent in that trade. That's all for beating punished players, and now for shoutouts. Shoutouts to Big Rays for suggesting we make this video, and shoutouts to the Discord, once more in the top right, for voting on us to do this video. If you learned something today, or just enjoyed listening to this ASMR session, be sure to subscribe, and apart from that, peace.